So Misfits 22 went down a couple hours ago. I did a few live streams talking about it, but I thought I'd just make a quick little video just talk about this as well because I'm just so happy for these guys, especially Tony. I'm so happy for Tony Ferguson. He finally, after all this time, he finally got a win. He had to go to a different sport to do it. He had to fight an influencer, but he got it. I said this fight would be close, and it wasn't close, really. It was sort of like the first round, yeah, you give it to Sol Papi, but the next couple rounds, it was literally all Tony. Tony's pressure, his body shots, and his pace just really got to Sol Papi. So, I was still right. The fight wasn't close. I mean, it was close, to be fair. The first round went to Sol Papi, but after that first round, the fight went all to Tony Ferguson. He had the pressure, the momentum, and he broke Sol Papi. Great performance. But I'll get to him in a sec. I'll fully get to Tony Ferguson in a second. First, we're going to talk about Dylan Dennis versus Warren Spencer. One of the stupidest things I've ever seen before in my life is Warren Spencer shooting a takedown on Dylan Dennis. He landed 2 shots on the feet. And then he shot. Now, I think he got caught with a check hook. But, come on, man. Why are you shooting on Dylan Dennis? I don't know what... It makes it look fixed. I know it wasn't fixed. But, how stupid do you have to be to shoot on Dylan Dennis? The only way Dylan Dennis wins is if he's... Well, not the only way, but, he subs you. That's his main goal, is to get you on the ground. You shoot a takedown, you present your neck. Of course, he's going to fucking sub you immediately. But Dylan Dennis looked good. I had some people in my chat saying, JDM wouldn't beat Warren Spencer that quick. I disagree. I think JDM would probably chin Warren Spencer within the first exchange. But anyway, good performance by Dylan Dennis. He gets the win. And yeah, that's his first win in MMA for 6 years, I think. I think the last time he fought was 2018, 2019. 2019. He hasn't fought in MMA for 6 years. That is pretty crazy when you think about it that way. But here he is. He's got a win. Good on him. He had him and Eddie Hall agreed to have an open weight fight. I think Eddie Hall would slam him on his head, to be honest. I think if he tries to put him in a triangle, I think Eddie Hall will just rampage fucking Roger Jackson, slam him on his head. But I like it. I think it'd be a nice little freak show fight. Who knows? Dylan Dennis is clearly the much more skilled guy, but Eddie Hall, just that raw strength. I don't know what commission would sanction it, but I guess Dylan Dennis would have to bulk up to maybe 200 pounds at least, which I'm sure he could do. But yeah, good stuff by Dylan Dennis. Then we had Tony Ferguson. Like I said, Tony was losing the first round, but then the second and the third, he just put it on, put that pressure, put that pace, mixed up body shots. There was a body shot in the second round, towards the end of the second round, that seemed like it hurt Sol Papi. Maybe that's why Sol Papi sort of gassed out, and after that, maybe that body shot could change the trajectory of the fight. But Tony Ferguson, he looked good. He got hit a lot, but his chin looked solid. He didn't look too slow, to be honest. And I don't know, he looked the best he's looked in a while. Now, I honestly, boxing is probably where he should be, because his takedown defense just doesn't exist anymore. That's why in boxing, maybe he's got more of a shot here. He can use the pressure, he can use the pace. But he looked good. I'm glad he won. I am really glad Tony Ferguson won. Now, the stoppage. We do have to talk about the stoppage. It was early. It was early, but I think Tony would have broken him and he would have got him out of there eventually. But it's still an early stoppage. But I'm just so happy Tony won. I don't care. Let's be real. Tony shouldn't be piecing you up like that anyway in 2025 after everything he's been through. So fuck it, just give him the victory. But it was early. But I think he would have eventually got a decision, or he would have finished Sol Papi with the pressure and pace he was putting on, especially with the way Sol Papi. He probably would have 10-8'd him in that round, if he didn't get the finish. But I feel like Tony Ferguson was robbed of getting a proper finish, because I think he would have finished Sol Papi if he just kept putting that pressure on, putting that pace on, and landing big shots. I don't think he was going to gas out or anything like that. So it is disappointing in that extent. But yeah, good stuff for Tony Ferguson. Good little stoppage there. And he won, and he was happy. Now, they did a little face-off afterwards with him and Dylan Dennis. I'd like to see that fight. That's a fight I wanted to see when they were going to do the GFL, that whole GFL thing. I think that's interesting. I think that's actually a good fight. I don't think Dylan Dennis would KO Tony Ferguson, so it'd be interesting, Would Dylan Dennis maybe sub him? Maybe. But at least we don't have to worry about Tony taking too much concussive damage. So I think that'd be a good fight. Do it in MMA though. Boxing, neither of the like Tony should box. I think he has more of a chance of winning fights in boxing. Dylan Dennis should only do MMA. And I think that's smart. But yeah, if Tony Ferguson is going to fight MMA, I'd like to be him versus Dylan Dennis, not against some like concussive power puncher or anything like that. And then we had Darren Till versus Luke Rockhold. Now, Luke's out cold is now his new name because Luke is out cold. Darren Till just destroyed him, really. There was no moment of success at all for Luke Rockhold in this fight. Luke Rockhold should never box ever again. Now, if he wants to do karate combat or kickboxing or something, he can kick. But he should never be a sport where he can only punch because his boxing is always... So this is the thing about Luke Rockhold. His grappling is the best part of his game. His top mount is one of the best. His top game is one of the best in MMA history. But his striking isn't that great, but his kicking's really good. He's a really good kicker. But the worst part about his striking is boxing. Why would he go in a straight boxing match? Now, he's not like Ben Askren on the feet. He has pop in his shots. He can drop people. He can hurt people. But the best part of his game in striking was always the kicks. He'd had the good question mark kick that he got Bisping with, where he subbed him in their first fight. But like in boxing, he's always had big issues with left shots, getting hit with the left. Why would you go in there against a guy who can only throw the left straight? Like, come on, this was a nightmare matchup for Luke Rockhold, especially in just pure boxing. But I'm happy for Darren Till. He's on a nice little win streak. Absolutely slumped him out cold. We don't really see Darren Till do that to too many people nowadays. Did he sleep Darren Stewart? It was a decision. Okay, he went to a decision with Darren Stewart, but he got a straight left on Anthony Taylor, which knocked him out cold, and he overhand left KO'd Luke Rockhold. Beautiful stuff. Very beautiful stuff. Now, what was this in the UK? I'm just curious. I forgot. I didn't actually check where this was. Yes, it was in Manchester. Okay. But yeah, great stuff for Darren Till. He gets the win. 32 years of age. And he wins. He's now got 4 wins in boxing. I reckon you do him versus KSI. KSI won't take the fight. Do him versus KSI or Tommy Fury or something like that. Jake Paul. There are so many big fights for Darren Till. He's looking really good in boxing. Or do him versus Idris Virgo just because I want to see Virgo get KO'd or something like that. But good stuff by Darren Till. It felt like 2018, 2016 again with all these guys getting wins. Or at least, for Darren Till and Tony Ferguson. I don't know. It felt retro, Trump's president. Everything just feels like 2018, to be honest. Trump's president. Darren Till's winning. Tony Ferguson's winning. It feels weird. It feels like we've just gone back in time. Everything just feels like it's gone back in time. Like it just feels like the last 5 years didn't happen. But yeah, it's good to see him. The only bad thing about Tony winning is probably he's going to just keep fighting and he'll take more damage. But hey, if he keeps winning, who cares? I don't mind him getting a bank, getting a bunch of money. And Darren Till, I think he has a good career in the all influencer boxing thing. It'll be interesting to see if we ever see him go back to MMA. Because apparently the UFC have told him if he ever wants to go back to the UFC, he's always welcome. But who knows? Maybe if Izzy ever gets cut or he leaves the UFC, we get Darren Till versus Izzy in boxing. That could be a fight that happens. Israel Adesanya versus Darren Till. Boxing. He'll be in boxing, But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, put on notifications. Shout out to the Mixed Martial Artists. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.